This is Football at 4.
Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Adam Caplan from the Inside the Birds podcast is here, which you can get on all podcasting platforms. Just search Inside the Birds and their YouTube channel. Don't forget all their Patreon content and more on their YouTube channel. Just search Inside the Birds. Adam Caplan is here, and we've been doing our division previews with Andrew on Thursdays, and one of the divisions we looked at a couple weeks ago was the AFC East. We're going to take a look at the divisional odds and how they have changed post mini camps and all that good stuff here with Adam Caplan now on the Sports Bash Live. By the way, Thursday when Andrew's back, we will look at the AFC West. And that will be our final look at the AFC. You know what that means, Andrew? Adam. When we're done the AFC West, we only have 4 weeks left to go until the season is really here.
Wow. Hey, good to be with you, Mike. It's funny. I have a brother named Andrew, just for the record. And my mom, because I'm the youngest of 4 boys, she often calls me Andrew. She's just, it's just funny you did that. So on today's show, what we'll do is the AFC Divisional odds on Friday segment, assuming you're going to be on the air that day. So on Friday, we'll do the NFC updated divisional odds. Yeah, so we'll do that. We'll get you ready. And as I put this group together, Mike, of the latest odds on these divisional numbers, it just shows you what happens when Bill Belichick leaves the Patriots. The Patriots have the longest odds to win any division in the AFC. I mean, that just tells you where the Patriots are at.
Sure does. We were talking about this earlier. It was a weird conversation about the Cowboys and their national appeal and how all these people became Cowboys fans. And I said, at what point and why did the Patriots, because they're basically Cowboys fans because they were front runners. So why do we not see a nationwide group of Patriots fans take over that group of Cowboys fans? You know what I'm saying?
Well, a couple things with the Patriots. They never had a fan base. Okay, before Belichick got there, real moribund franchise. Nobody cared about them. And I know, Mike, growing up in the area, I know friends who were fans of one team. Then they become bandwagon Cowboy fans because Cowboys were always good in the '80s, most of the '90s. Then they've been very consistent since then. It's just funny how that works out. I don't know how people become Cowboy fans. And I'm supposed to be impartial, but it's really sickening, to be honest with you.
Well, I know how they become. I know how they become. It started as their dad liked the star when they were on TV, and they were good. And now the parents pass it down to the kids. But it's weird. Like the Cowboys haven't been good since 1995. So you would think people in their 30s and their 20s would have gotten past that. But I don't know. I don't know how that. You would think those people would all be Patriots fans. But
I mean, the drama, Mike. The drama. No, but you're saying, why would they explain it to me? You think they should become Patriots fans, or the Patriots should be Cowboys fans? What?
No, the younger generation of the people who are Cowboys fans became Cowboys fans essentially because they were they were good. Yeah. Why haven't the younger generation of front running fans become Patriots fans?
Never, because they never had a following. Yes, Brady was dominant. For some reason, they never caught on nationally. Like, if you talk to the NFL, Mike, one of the schedule maker, Mike North, and I got to know Howard Katz, who was involved with the schedule for many years. You could tell, Mike, from talking to these people who the national teams were. And they'll never quite come out and say who they're rooting for, but they'll tell you it's very good for the NFL when the Cowboys are good. But if you ranked, okay, who are the national teams? The Packers are because of their legacy. They're a legacy team, They're a team that's very popular. When they're good, they're going to be on national TV a lot. The Raiders, because of they're an AFL team, they're one. The Jets, now because of that market. The Rams, by the way, they don't have a national following, despite being arguably the biggest media market. They've never had one. The Eagles are a national team. If they're great, look at how many times they're going to be on national TV the last year and this year, Mike. There's a reason for that. They're a national team. The Patriots never have been, despite winning. It's 6 rings.
Yes.
Is it 6?
Mm-hmm.
They've never been a national team. It's nobody cares about them. They're the team that time has forgotten. Like I'm telling you, nobody cares about them.
Well, they're plus 1,800. They are the longest shot, but that division is going to be a really, really interesting three-team race.
All right, so the Bills are the Buffalo Bills to lead the division. They're plus 155. So, if you bet 100, you get 155 back plus your bet back. If people want to know how these future odds work, or just when you gamble, the Dolphins. Now, see, this is interesting. As you set it up, the Dolphins are plus 175. So the odds makers have it very close between the Bills and Dolphins. Now, I'm a little surprised at this one, and I'll explain why. The Jets are a more distant plus 240. Because of the hype, and they had a lot of hype this offseason, the Jets are plus 240. So they're despite all the Bills' problems with their roster, 2 new starting receivers, their defense, their secondary is completely new. At safety, really, a little bit at corner. I'm surprised that they're still leading that division. You would think the Dolphins might take it, or at least have the best odds to win it, but they don't. And then the Patriots are plus 1,800, and they're in a total rebuild, new quarterback, new coaching staff, new front office, more or less. And they're now the defense should be competitive, but offensively they're going to have trouble scoring.
Yeah, that division's interesting. I agree with you on the Jets thing. The plus 240, I think there's good value there with the Bills at plus 155 and the Dolphins at plus 175. But the North, you've got all 4 teams kind of in play here. I know the Steelers are kind of a distant behind the Ravens, but all 4 of these, 3 of them made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, this is the tightest, this is the best division in the National Football League. You can make a legitimate claim, and I'll explain this in a minute, why all 4 are capable of winning. Obviously, the Ravens have the best team in that division. They added Derrick Henry. They're plus 125. The Bengals are plus 165. I don't agree with this one. This is where I think if you like these future numbers, the Browns, Mike, are plus 550. I know Deshaun Watson has been a disaster since the last time he's played good football, and he was great in 2020. People forget he was phenomenal. The team was terrible because their defense was not competitive. He was great. If he plays above-average football, they're going to be in until the end. Look what Joe Flacco did with that team when he took over. And they just added Jerry Jeudy in this offseason, a receiver. Really talented defense, which Jim Schwartz calling it, or one of the best defenses in the National Football League. And then the Steelers, now their offensive line has really been rebuilt here. They're plus 700. That's a good number. If you're looking for a long-range prospect to win a division, the Steelers are a really good value, plus 700. Again, they're pretty loaded, not as talented as maybe the Ravens or Browns, but you never know what could happen. And remember, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, but he also hasn't won a playoff game since 2017.
Yes, no losing season there for the Steelers, so plus 700 if you dare on the AFC North. That one should be pretty interesting. Hey, I think the AFC South, last year they had 3 teams with winning records. I don't know that people actually recall that, but they had 3 teams with winning records, and the Titans went out and beefed up on the offensive side of the ball.
Mike, what's really interesting, it's definitely true, Mike. If you look at the Texans, they were plus 1,500 to win their division last year, and they wound up winning it. Nobody thought anything of it, okay? They had a rookie quarterback starting, a rookie head coach. Defense was terrible before last season. The defense made a turnaround. Their offensive line had been rebuilt. It's just amazing. And they shocked the world at 10-7. They won the division, won a playoff game. It dismantled the Browns, by the way, in Joe Flacco. They took them down. Now, they lost to the Ravens in Baltimore, but they're only plus 100. Like, obviously, if you like them, you better get on them now. Now, the team that fell off, they shocked the world 2 years ago. It's funny how that division is. The Jaguars are plus 260. Doug Peterson, I don't know that I want to put him on the hot seat, but his decision to go with Press Taylor in season, he handled the play calling after the season started. Press Taylor didn't go over very well. They're plus 260. The Colts, who somehow, Mike, had a winning record with Gardner Minshew starting, give them credit. They were 9-8. They were down to the end to get a wild card spot in the division. They were 9-8. Richardson's back. Remember, Jonathan Taylor's not holding out. He got his contract after the season started. So they're plus 340. Now the Titans spent the most free agent dollars in their history. They're plus 18. They're plus 800. They're not winning that division. I still don't see them getting in the playoffs, but they could get 7 wins. But they are plus 800.
That Titans team, I think when you take a look at all the additions they made on the offensive side of the ball, you're like, Pollard's on that team now? DeAndre Hopkins is on that team now? Like, wow, they really went out and added some pieces on offense for Tennessee.
Ridley.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's on that team now. Plus 800. Sneaky little play there for the Titans in the AFC South. Let's go to the AFC West, where there's one team in the entire conference that has minus odds to win. That's minus 225 for the Chiefs. Is there even a competitor in the AFC West?
No, I mean, and that's why they have to be minus, Mike. The Chiefs are minus 225. They have to be. My personal number would be minus 400. The thing that gets me, and I mean, the odds makers have been on this really since Jim Harbaugh became the head coach of the Chargers. Their over-under total is fluctuated between 8.5 and 9. I can't believe it. They have very little talent on defense. It's really aging, by the way, the talent that they do have on defense. Khalil Mack was great last season, but he's well into his 30s. Joey Bosa's been hurt, but they are plus 350. They're only plus 350. Yeah, I would pass on that one. The Raiders are plus 900. And the second worst odds, the team that nobody has any respect for, are the Sean Payton-led Broncos at plus 1,600. Why? New starting quarterback. They were dreadful last season at quarterback. Russell Wilson wound up getting benched. He's now with the Steelers. Bo Nix was like overdrafted. That's the way the league sees it, Mike. They're in sort of kind of a turnaround program at quarterback. They're okay defense. They got off to a horrific starter, Vance Joseph. You remember that one bad game? Who was it? Against the Dolphins lit it up. One of the teams crushed them.
Yeah, the Dolphins they scored 70.
70, right. It was terrible. You could have nowhere to go but up, right? And then they turn it around. And by the way, Vance Joseph, who was once the Broncos head coach, people forget about that. You know what's actually kind of funny also? The GM's name is George Payton, and the head coach's name, Sean Payton, but they spelled different. Payton is George Payton's P-A-T-O-N, and Sean Payton's P-A-Y-T-O-N.
You got plus 1,600 for the Broncos. You got plus 800 for the Titans, plus 700 for the Steelers, and plus 1,800 for the Patriots. There's always a worst to first. Are one of those a worst to first candidate for you?
Boy, Mike, every year we miss on it. Nobody got the Jaguars last year. Nobody got the Texans, both in the AFC South. Oh, boy, this is tough. Titans, no way. Their defense won't be good enough. I know. Something's good. Who finished in last in the AFC North? You know what? The Bengals could do it.
Yeah, the Bengals were last place last year. Yep,
9-8. They still had a winning record, though. Boy, every team in the AFC North had a winning record. I just can't. Mike, it's one of these questions, Mike. We'll talk after I get back from my training camp tour, probably third week of August, and I'll see probably around 18 to 20 teams this year. So a lot of those teams will be working with each other and joint practice. I'll have a better idea. I've got it right a couple times. The Rams team, where they came out of nowhere, was it Sean McVay's first or second year? I was with them for 2 days. I remember going, you know what? This team's going to have a winning record. People thought I was out of my mind. McVay's obviously brilliant. Didn't get it right with the Jaguars 2 years ago. I had them getting, I think, 4 wins. They wound up having like 10. No, again, I didn't like I had the Texans under last year. It didn't go well. But there's going to be somebody who comes out of absolute nowhere. Let me give you one though. They didn't finish in last year. Would it shock you if the Colts wound up winning the AFC South?
I don't think any team in that division. I don't even know that the Titans would shock me as much as it sounds like it would shock you.
Yeah, and by the way, Will Levis in his first full year quarterback didn't look great last year.
That's the problem, right? The quarterback there is the issue.
And their offensive line, Mike, has been rebuilt. The Andre Dillard experience at left tackle did not work. He's now a backup in Green Bay. They're in a total rebuild here, but yeah, I look forward to doing the NFC. That won't be easy at all because of that NFC East, Mike, which has not had a repeat division winner since 2004.
Adam Caplan, everybody. We're talking NFL, which means we're getting close. We're less than a month until training camp reports. And, of course, you got the Hall of Fame game coming up here soon. We're in the month of July. Feels like football. Adam, we'll talk to you. Actually, we are off on Friday. So
we are? Okay. Yes. All right. We'll do it next week. And, Mike, by the way, I was just talking to the Jets. I didn't even realize this. They report to training camp in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yep.
Yeah, but they're in a little early because what they do, the Eagles don't do this, but some teams have the injured veterans who come back from some type of injury, some major injury, and quarterbacks and rookies have to report first, so it's kind of interesting.
Well, 2 weeks will feel like Christmas, all right?
Sounds good.
Take care, buddy. Adam Caplan, everybody, here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN for another edition of Football at 4.